You ready to go?
Guess so.
The sweet sound of a diesel.
We're up and on the road before the sun this morning. I wonder where we're going. This is the first Monday of April after an entire weekend of rain that has brought historic flooding to Kentucky. The road is covered down there.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah, it's deep here too, look.
Yeah, so slow down.
Continue for half a mile.
Parts of this area received as much as 15 inches of rain throughout a 4-day period. We adjusted our route to avoid the hardest hit areas, but we're still encountering lots of water along the drive. Shoo-wee, look at that road down there.
Well, we're cruising west on I-24. The roads have been pretty good until now. This road is pretty rough in places. It's a jarring ride, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. So bumpy.
Just crossed the Ohio River and then turned around immediately, and now we're crossing the Mississippi.
It's quite a bridge.
It sure is. It's quite a narrow bridge.
Bumpy.
Glad we don't have the trailer.
Oh my goodness, is this rough.
Welcome to Missouri.
Oh man. Welcome to Missouri. Missouri, fix your bridge. This is nuts. We are on our way to Floyd's Equipment, and you might be wondering, why the heck did we drive all the way to eastern Missouri from Kentucky to get a flatbed? Well, let's just say somebody might be a little picky.
Floyd's Equipment in Sykeston, Missouri stocks hundreds of upfitter solutions, including flatbeds and other utility truck beds.
Take the next left, then turn right.
They install 3 to 4 beds per day, and we arrive just in time for our noon appointment. But why are we traveling 6 hours to have this done when surely there are other upfitters closer to home? Well, by now you know us. You know that we are a bit particular, I guess you could say, about our truck and trailer. We know someone who recommended this particular company, and all the reviews online were good. It also didn't hurt that Floyd's offered us a good price. We have chosen to go with a skirted CM flatbed. Despite Floyd's having hundreds of beds in stock, we special ordered ours with a couple of special features that we will discuss later in the video.
The process of installing a flatbed is relatively simple. First, the electrical harnesses are prepared on the truck as another worker begins adding the diesel fill hoses and the fuel caps to the flatbed. Next, some small steel spacers are welded to the top of the frame to provide an even surface for the flatbed. Drilling work gets the rear of the bed ready for a backup camera as brackets get bolted through the truck frame that will later get welded to the flatbed. With the flatbed dropping in place, some careful centering is needed before the bolt-on brackets get welded to the flatbed. The mud flaps get bolted in place, and voila, it's ready to roll.
Well, it has been a long day.
Yes, it has. We left the house this morning at 6 o'clock, and we probably won't get home until about midnight, but we are so glad it's done.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have the bed on the truck. It is riding a lot better, that's for sure. Before it just wanted to jar your teeth out. Now it's not so bad.
Right. We'll get it cleaned up and show you the final product tomorrow. We're home. We got everything at least a little bit cleaned up, so let's go take a look.
So we chose a powder-coated steel flatbed made by CM, and it's got a couple of really nice features. It's the skirted model, so it's got 2 toolboxes on each side, one front and rear. It's set up for the dual tanks, and we got it custom built with just a couple of small changes. Let me show you. We chose to have the center of the grid bars cut out here on the headache rack. This gives us better access through the back window in case we want to hand things back and forth, and also gives us kind of a better ability to clean the back window. We were really concerned about blocking the view of the cameras up here by the third brake light. There's 2 camera lenses here. There's one here for the digital rear view mirror, and there's one here for a 5th wheel camera, so you can kind of see down here by the 5th wheel of the gooseneck area. So we were concerned about the headache rack blocking the view, but it doesn't. The cameras shine just below it. Everything worked out really nicely. Then we had them install this large box in the hitch area, and it's got a B&W turnover ball. So it's got a lever here you can release, and the gooseneck ball just flips over. Or you can use the same area, pull the gooseneck ball out, and run a 5th wheel hitch. But for our travel trailer, we'll be using the receiver hitch here on the back. It's a 2.5-inch receiver, so we had to run a 2.5 to 2-inch reducer, and you can pull up to 24,000 pounds here on the back of the truck. We work with the upfitter to mount the Ram OEM backup camera here. It's the park view system, so it integrates with the 12-inch screen in the dash. Works really well. And then we also had them swap out the brake lights. It had brake lights with the clear lenses, and really didn't like the look of it. Really kind of liked the red look better. It's equipped with the 7-way connector here on the back for the trailer, and a 4-pin connector for kind of a standard trailer connector. And there's also another 7-way connector up in the gooseneck area.
You'll remember from our truck video that it's equipped with dual fuel tanks. So here are the fuel fills for the back tank and the front tank. And I really like how they have them recessed in so they're a little bit protected. And I also like that they're close enough together that the fuel nozzle is going to reach both of them without having to move the truck in between. And like Jeff said earlier, it has 4 of these storage boxes in the skirted area. And they lock. So you just flip that up, unlock it, turn it, and they open right up. The front compartments are a little bit bigger than the back. Looks like it's about 23 by 12 by about 14. They also have rubber weather stripping around the outside of them to keep them sealed up. We'll see how well that actually holds up though. And just to give you an idea about the back compartments, they're about 17 by 12 by 14. This upper deck here is about 9 feet 4 inches long and 7 feet 6 inches wide. And the height here at the back is 3 feet 7 inches.
Now there are a few things that we're not real pleased with. There are a couple of scratches here on the top of the headache rack where it's scratched all the way through the paint and it's already starting to rust. And then here underneath the flatbed, you can see the fuel fill hose area, and it's not very well supported. So we've got a little work to do there.
Jeff says this isn't a big deal, but it really bugs me that they used white paint marker to write on it, and it's hard to get to, and it takes a ridiculous amount of elbow grease to get it off. That could have been done better. One thing I do love about it is lit up in every corner, all along the back. You are going to see us coming. We'll get some shots of it tonight to show you. Getting this flatbed was a big step in the right direction to get us back on the road.
It sure was. Now at least we can tow the trailer. We've got an appointment next week with a body shop to get the gel coat repaired from all the fire damage.
Yeah, and the Bigfoot also has a leaky window, So we're going to be tackling that repair soon. You can be watching for a video on that coming up.
Yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Right, and this is our first time ever owning a truck with a flatbed, or one that uses DEF, or one with dual rear wheels. So if you have any tips or tricks or pointers for us, leave them in the comments.
Yeah, and don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps out our channel.
Thanks for watching. Whew, that was a bigger jump than I expected.